And I remember then when I won, they were like, well, aren't you coming back to do your notice period? And I said, no, because I have to be in Parliament next week. It literally works like that.
Hi, I'm Sophie, and this is Party Games, where I play games with politicians. And now I'm joined here today by the lovely Preet Kaur Gill, the Shadow Minister for Primary Care and Public Health. How are you?
I'm really good. Excited to be here, actually.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Obviously, I've got operations play with you.
Yeah.
Have you played it before? Do you know how to play it?
Can you believe I haven't played it? But obviously I know of it because lots of kids play it, but not myself.
No. Okay, well, basically, aim of the game, you need to get things out of Sam's body, depending on what's on the card. Try not to buzz.
Yeah.
If you buzz, then I have a go at it. And whoever wins gets to keep the card. The cards are all worth money, and then we'll count the money at the end and see who wins. I will let you go first. And what is the...
Stomach.
The stomach. So what do you need from the stomach? Is it the...
Butterfly.
The butterfly in here?
Yeah.
It's tense. Okay, so to start with, I wanted to ask you about the fat. So...
Oh, well, there you go. That is hard.
It is hard, isn't it?
Yes.
But first go.
No.
So I wanted to ask you about when you were elected in 2017, you became the first British female Sikh MP ever to come into this place. How did that feel on that day?
Oh, absolutely incredible. But I guess what was even more incredible was the honour to be able to represent the seat where I lived, where I was born and raised, where my family lived.
In Birmingham.
And then, of course, you know, becoming the first Sikh female MP, I mean, is huge because, of course, there's a huge sense of responsibility. Lots of people want you to raise issues that matter to the Sikh community. Seeing a pathway from, you know, being local, going to a local school and then making it to Parliament. I think that, you know, lots of people came to me and said that was really quite inspiring for them and their children. So hugely a privilege. I mean, my family, you know, for them it was a really big deal. I was the first to go to university in my family. And so making it to Parliament, especially because it was my dad's dream for me to be the first Sikh female MP. And unfortunately, I lost him in 2014 and he didn't get to see me do that. But I felt on the campaign that he was there. My father was a president of the Sikh temple for about 18 years. And so every door I knocked, especially Sikh families, told me a story about something my dad had done or how they knew him and the impact he'd made into the community. And that was really heartening, actually. Everybody told me I wouldn't win the seat, but I was determined that we would, and we did.
And you did, and
yes.
Here you are,
yes.
Ready to have another go, another general election. Right, so you're getting the wishbone now. Yeah. So what was family, I'm naughtily asking questions while you're doing it. I'll let you have another go, because it is really tricky. That was big. I don't think I can let her get away with that one.
No, that's definitely you.
I'll try. So what was family like for you growing up?
Oh, wow. I mean...
Sorry, I'm not doing it on purpose.
My God, you're really very good at this. I'm one of 7.
One of 7?
Yes, I'm the eldest. My parents migrated here.
You can try the
from India. My mum was 8, my dad was 15, and so they, you know, grew up here. And my dad was really into politics. He stood as a Labour councillor. He was a huge supporter of Tony Blair, had lots of politicians in and out of our home. And my dad set up the first community initiative supporting women that were victims of domestic violence. So, you know, I grew up in a household where my father was very much about social justice and wanting to make a difference. And he's the reason I became a councillor, actually, because when I was pregnant with my first daughter in 2010, I stood as a local councillor. And it was because he kept pushing me. Of course, it's never easy. I mean, I was blocked for about 4 years, and that's when you really understand. You've got to know how the process fully works. And I was obviously one of those girls that didn't want to rely on my father to help me get in, but sometimes you do have to seek support.
Okay, she's going for the wrench. She's going.
Oh, nearly.
That didn't, yeah.
I think I've worked this.
I'm not going to ask you a question. I'll let you have that.
Okay.
We saw TDB.
I think I'm figuring this out now as to how you do it. Yeah.
Okay, that one stays with you. So then you went on, you said you went to university first in your family to go. What did you study at university? What path did you take there?
So I did sociology degree. During my sociology degree, I had the opportunity to go and work in New Delhi in India. So that was really fascinating doing my degree, especially going back to my roots, where my family are from. Like, I remember meeting a young boy that wanted, a street child, wanting to polish shoes. And I remember wanting to just give him some money, and he said no. And I said, why? And he said, I want to do the actual job before you pay me. I'm not begging. I'm not looking for you to feel sorry for me. And I thought that was quite remarkable, that sense of spirit of having very little.
Yes, I'm going to go for the spare ribs, but when you came back, you were obviously still quite young then. So where did you go? What happened after that? How did you have the path to then coming into this place?
Yeah, so when I was, doing my degree in sociology,
I'll get you to do this at the same time. Oh, you've got the pulled muscle. She's got the pulled muscle.
Yeah, I was able to go and live on a kibbutz in Israel, which was amazing. I mean, that cross-cultural perspective of, different places was really quite fascinating, and I absolutely loved my experience there. Travel really sort of helps you understand and build understanding and connection between other communities and other ways of life, and a real sort of appreciation. And so then I became a social worker. Yeah. I lived in London and I worked here. It was some of the most frightening experiences in Newham, in Waltham Forest, of a young woman being a social worker, having to go to high-rise flats to visit families, sometimes on your own, walking upstairs with people, shooting up. I continued that career pathway and became a children's services manager at the front line of children's services, and something I was really, really passionate and cared a lot lot about.
You have to do the,
you've
got the pulled muscle, yeah.
Ah.
It's actually,
wow, that's hard.
You've got loads of experience around it. Oh, it's actually come off on half of it, so I might let you.
I think you've got to be so intricate.
I know.
Oh, wow. Okay, fine.
Okay, funny bone. I'm going to go straight in for the funny bone now. Okay, focus. So then, so social work.
It's okay.
Doesn't count.
I made a mistake.
Yeah, we're being so kind to each other.
Yeah.
After social work, how did you end up then becoming an MP?
I worked in frontline children's services for over 20 years. I absolutely loved it, but I always wanted to do more. Like many women in my position, trying to get promotion, it's never easy. And I went through that process in my own council. I remember going to speak to my senior manager and saying, what is it that I'm not doing, that I'm not getting this promotion? And she said, oh my God, that's a really good question. She said, Preet, we never see the vulnerable side of you. I remember leaving that room and thinking, I don't actually know what that means. And then sort of unpicking that, I realised that I probably wasn't the yes person that they were looking for, because I had lots of ideas and innovation and wanted to make a difference and wanted to do lots. And I think what that did for me is it made me realise that I need to change my sort of career pathway and think about what I really want to do. So I was a counsellor. I then got an opportunity to go on the cabinet. I remember saying I'm going to reduce my days, and I remember them coming back to me and saying, no, please don't do that. We really want you to do the additional hours. Is there any way you could work, weekends, evenings? And I said, yeah, of course I will, because I really cared about the work I do on my team. And then I remember the election was called. And I said to them, I'm going to have to take unpaid leave for 6 weeks. And I remember then when I won, they were like, well, aren't you coming back to do your notice period? And I said, no, because I have to be in Parliament next week. It literally works like that. When I was a councillor, there's a case that really, I think this helped me on my journey of wanting to become an MP was, I met a woman who'd come from India. She was a student, didn't understand the language here or the legalities of issues. Her child sustained an injury. Of course, that's really concerning. When I met her, the case was for her children who had been removed to go for adoption. And I think the father had admitted that, he'd caused the injury, she wasn't at home. And when I looked at the paperwork, I thought she'd been treated unfairly, because actually she was a protective factor. She'd done everything that the council wanted her to do. And I remember working on that case and really challenging the council in terms of areas of deficit. She had her children returned, and I still see her at my place of worship at the Gurdwara, and she still comes to me and says, I just can't thank you enough because of what you were prepared to do, and nobody was helping me at that time. I mean, I must say, my husband was like, oh my gosh, what does this mean? Because it does affect your family. My kids were very young then, 7 and 8. They're 12 and 13 now. But then they were born into me being a politician because I was an elected councillor.
Yeah.
Charlie horse and sound like that. So
Charlie horse.
that is difficult, isn't it?
I know, it's not... Oh! Okay, that was big.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
You're gonna
Slowly, easy.
Oh my goodness.
Just like that.
You're an absolute professional at this.
The bread basket's in here.
Yeah.
Okay, can we?
Right, my gosh.
I know.
My God!
Oh, it's there, it's there. I thought you dropped it back in the hole. I wanted to ask what it's like when you have different roles and it's a reshuffle day. Like, no one really knows how they properly work. Is it that Keir just rings you up and he says, oh, hi Preet, you got a new job today, bye.
The call for the new role comes from the Chief Whip. So whilst Keir is doing the reshuffle, clearly it's the whips are then trying to manage and organise where people go.
Yeah.
And so it's a real shift. You just get on with it, really. I mean, that's the nature of it.
I'm going to let you go with the pencil. And I just realised that I didn't take the horse card off you and I'm still in my bag.
Did you not?
I've just seen it's worth 400.
It's money, it's money. Wow.
The pencil. Okay, so this one is for 500. Water on the knee with it. But yeah, so primary care, obviously that's GP stuff as well. Oh gosh. I used to do health reporting and you're obviously reporting on something that's very important and significant in people's lives.
It's phenomenal how much you learn and hear about different, health issues that impact different populations. And equally, as a member of parliament, I'm hearing lots of cases of people whose families are in hospital about the care that they receive. There's a hell of a lot to do. The NHS has got to be fit for the 21st century. It is still functioning as it was set up in 1948. And we have got to, absolutely change the way we do things. We've got to focus on prevention. There is much more to do on reform, and that's exactly what Labour is talking about. I think you can do things differently, and I'm really heartened that, certainly Keir wants to do things with a very clear focus on prevention.
Broken heart. Well, broken heart is worth a lot.
Brian.
Yeah, that's the difficulty, isn't it?
Oh, do you have to leave it as it is?
So it's difficult when you get a difficult one late in the game. Okay, that was basically out. We'll let you have that. There's so much going on in this place. How do you keep yourself busy outside of work?
Yeah, I think it's striking the balance is important. I've got 2 girls, a family, and I want to spend more time with them, and they really ground me. So when I come home, it's like, Mom, can you put the phone away? Can you spend time with us? Yeah. And I do enjoy that, actually. I love talking to them and hearing about the things that they do, what's happening on social media. Having that quality time, building those memories, it's really tough and challenging because I've got a really big family as well, so try and go and visit my mum, of course my mother-in-law, and sort of manage all of that as well. And don't forget, when I come home, I'm mum, so the domestic chores, the cooking, they can't find this, and that's nice actually, because you do want to switch off, because it is all consuming, politics is, and I think just for your own sense of well-being, having time for yourself is really important. So the way I do that is, finding a moment in the day where I can pray, or I can listen to prayer, or I can just sit quietly for 5 minutes, really helps.
You spoke about social media there. How do you find social media as an MP?
I think some platforms have become much more toxic and they're not doing enough to address hate, especially directed towards women. I think what we shouldn't normalise is that it's okay to be threatened, intimidated and harassed. I don't think that's great in terms of democracy. Democracies are about debating issues. You may not agree, but there is a way of, being able to talk about very difficult issues without having to shout at people or harass them in any way, or say you're going to come and protest outside their homes,
Okay, right, we've got 1 card left. I'm going to see, after you've got that broken heart, if I can get Adam's apple, which is, okay, if you get it, I'm going to, okay, I can actually see it now.
Yeah.
That's a fair start.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I'll let you try. It's it.
Okay, let's see. Oh, gosh.
Is it gonna?
is it going to come out? Oh my gosh.
Okay, we've seen a journey of you starting off with Operation, and look how we ended. Okay, amazing. Well, thank you so much for playing Operation with me. I have a final question that I wanted to just ask you. Of what your advice is to any young Sikh girls watching this who will look up to you and want to follow in your footsteps?
I would say that, you know, whilst lots of doors will close, there will be many more that are opening, and just stay focused, dream big, don't let anyone stand in your way. There'll be lots of people saying you can't do something, but actually believe in yourself. I think your own sense of confidence. I think many women have that imposter syndrome. I certainly did, you know, especially before applying for this role, because as women, we feel we need to know so much more and have done so much more. And when you come here, you realise actually you should have confidence in yourself in terms of what you do bring to Parliament, especially in terms of the jobs that I've had at the front line of, you know, seeing the impact of policy and legislation being made here, and how that affects people. So I would just say go for it. I'm really heartened that Labour has selected some really great women at the next election, especially from BAME backgrounds, but of course Sikh. And so that means, you know, whilst it took 100 years for me to be elected, since the right of women, you know, my role model was Sophia Dalip Singh. She was a famous and prominent suffragette who fought for the right for women to vote. It took 100 years to elect the first Sikh female MP. I'm very proud of that. It certainly isn't going to do that for the next, as soon as the next general election is going to come about, we will see much more. And representation does matter. You know, nothing should stand in your way if that's your dream. So yeah, dream big.
Right, we're just going to quickly count these up. So we'll see. I'm testing my maths.
2,400.
Okay, I'm on 2,300, I think. 700, 900, 2,900.
Oh, you beat me by 5.
Yes. Okay. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching Party Games. Thank you so much, Preet, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
This has been a loss for the MP and a win for Sophie. Make sure to join us again next time. Like, comment and subscribe. Thanks.